History tells us Sparta fell in battle. That's not the whole story. The truth is much more terrifying. Sparta did not fall to an enemy. No army breached its defenses. No shields were broken. No spears shattered. Sparta fell without a fight. One morning, the most feared warrior state in the ancient world stood proud and strong. By midday, it was buried under its own rubble. Stone buildings cracked and split. Barracks collapsed, burying thousands of its elite warriors beneath the ruins of their own city. This wasn't a defeat by man. This was a defeat by the earth itself. And when the dust finally settled, Sparta was still standing. But its legend was dead. The strongest city in Greece had just learned a fatal lesson. It could bleed. Sparta believed it was untouchable. From early childhood, Spartan boys were forged in a crucible of pain. Hunger was just a part of training. Fear was a weakness to be purged. They fought as a single, disciplined body, obeying without question and dying without complaint. This iron will was why Sparta famously built no walls. It didn't need them. Its army was its fortress. But beneath this army lived the Helots, vast enslaved populations forced to serve. They farmed the land, maintained the homes, and outnumbered the Spartans many times over. Sparta ruled them through pure terror, routine killings, public humiliation, and the constant threat of violence. For generations, this system worked. Sparta seemed eternal, but its power was built on a dangerous illusion that brute strength could conquer everything. They were wrong. Beneath their very feet, the ground was preparing to prove it. The warning, when it came, wasn't from an enemy scout, it was from below. The night before, the disaster was like any other. Warriors slept in their barracks, their weapons leaning against the cold stone walls. The city was wrapped in its usual disciplined silence. Some survivors later claimed that animals had been restless, that they'd felt faint tremors in the dark. But these were men trained to ignore discomfort, to endure any hardship. So they ignored it. At first light, Sparta awoke. The familiar sounds of training echoed through the streets. Commands were barked. Bare feet pounded against the stone ground. Then the earth shuddered. Not a gentle shake, but a violent, tearing convulsion. A deep, guttural roar rose from the depths, and Sparta found itself facing an enemy it had no defense against. The earthquake of 464 BCE was catastrophic. The ground heaved, throwing warriors off their feet. Stone buildings twisted and shattered. Roofs came crashing down in seconds. Entire barracks folded in on themselves, crushing men where they stood, pinning them under heavy beams, burying them alive before they could even raise a shield. The training yards split open into gaping fissures. The streets buckled and cracked. A thick cloud of dust choked the air, turning disciplined commands into desperate screams. Sparta had trained for every conceivable human enemy, but it had never prepared for the land itself to turn against it. In just a few horrifying moments, thousands were dead. Not civilians, not the elderly, Spartan warriors, the elite, the very backbone of the state. As the dazed survivors began to claw their way through the rubble, a new danger was already on the move. Outside the ruined city, the Helots saw the massive dust cloud rising into the sky. They heard the sudden, chilling silence, and they understood something Sparta had never allowed them to believe. Their masters were vulnerable. When fear switches sides, power collapses with astonishing speed. The Helot rebellion exploded almost immediately. Across the countryside, enslaved people armed themselves with whatever they could find. They attacked isolated Spartan survivors, seized strategic high ground, and cut off supply routes. Sparta, the city that once terrorized all of Greece, was suddenly gripped by fear. The surviving warriors regrouped, but their numbers were drastically reduced. In an act of pure desperation, Sparta did the unthinkable. It asked for help. Allies answered the call. Even its great rival, Athens, sent troops. But Sparta's deep-seated paranoia took over. Fearing betrayal, the Spartans abruptly dismissed the Athenian soldiers, a profound insult that Athens would never forget. The rebellion was eventually crushed, but the damage was permanent. The Spartan citizen class was shattered. The trust between the Greek city-states was broken. The earthquake didn't just destroy buildings, it sent a crack right through the heart of ancient Greece. Sparta survived, and its army would march again. But that day revealed a truth that every great power eventually learns. The earth doesn't care about your training. It doesn't fear your reputation, and it has no respect for myths. In a single morning, nature accomplished what no army ever could. It broke Sparta without drawing a single sword. Thanks for watching.